as ministers in the temple of justice.
For anyone on the bench of the Nigerian judiciary, this chamber is the ultimate.
Let us all strive to maintain the independence of the judiciary so as to ensure the rule of law.
And the fact that the ministry is responsible for prosecution of cases makes the ministry very visible naturally.
Of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Nigerian Bar Association. If it is to buy time, you know who is buying time.
Becoming the first woman in the country to discharge the function. To me, Allah wished it that way.
Welcome to the program, The Scale of Justice.
Tune in every Monday at 2:05 p.m. and the repeat broadcast comes up every Wednesday at 6:30 a.m. on the network service of the NTA. Keep a date with us.
Hello, it's another week gone by and time to give you updates on happenings in the justice sector of Nigeria. I'm Femi Okewo with the pleasure of having you on this program. The happenings in and around the nation's second highest court, the Court of Appeal, will form the centerpiece of this program. And let us quickly start by telling you that that court, the Court of Appeal, now has a new person at the helm of affairs. She is Justice Monica Mensem, who takes over in acting capacity as the president of the Court of Appeal. Now we just give you highlights of the swearing in by the Chief Justice of Nigeria.
Justice Monica Mensem, who hails from Plateau State, took her oath of office amid a crowd of admirers, family, friends, and the legal profession. Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed, who administered the oath of office, described Justice Mensem's appointment as highly deserving. He said her appointment is based on merit, competence, and qualification, having served the judiciary in various capacities with an impeccable record of service to her credit. The Chief Justice of Nigeria advised her to remain focused and discharge her duties with diligence.
I would therefore urge you, please, my Lord, to continue with your charisma, with your good attitude.
Having served as Deputy Registrar and High Court Judge in Plateau State, the State Governor Simon Lalong and the company of his KB State counterpart Abubakar Bagudu were present to share in her joy.
I congratulate her. I also congratulate the judiciary.
Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, expressed confidence that she would discharge her duties excellently. Until her appointment, she was the presiding Justice Court of Appeal Enugu Division. Justice Monica Mensem, who is an authority in criminal and civil procedure law, has made invaluable contributions to the development of the legal profession in Nigeria.
Now, before that event, we have had quite a number of activities to say goodbye to the former president of the Court of Appeal, who had the office for about 6 years, and she really has contributed her own quota to the development of the law in Nigeria. I'm talking about the immediate past president of the Court of Appeal, Justice Zainab Adamu Bukachua. Now, we're going to use this part of our program to highlight a number of activities that were organized to usher her out of the Court of Appeal as the president. And there were quite a number of these events. It culminated with the valedictory court session that was held in her honor at the ceremonial court of the Court of Appeal. Enjoy this piece. For someone who herself could have been a victim of her society's indifference to the education of the girl child if she did not have dogged and enlightened parents, it is no surprise that at every point during the series of her valedictory events across the country, Justice Zainab Bukachua made it a point of duty to tell her story and encourage parents on the viability of education for the girl child. And she had a wide platform to do that as the Court of Appeal, Nigeria's second highest court, rolled out the drums to honor her for her 43 years service to the nation's judiciary, 6 of which she served as the president of the Court of Appeal. Part of the events were the inauguration of various divisions of the Court of Appeal across the country and visits to chief executives of states to seek continuous support for the court. In each of these states, glowing tributes were paid to her for her contributions to the growth of the judiciary.
I have to thank those that even think of establishing or constructing this Court of Appeal. We have to appreciate the President of Court of Appeal of taking his own time to come down and see with her eye when the retirement age is clocking. For me, seeing her, I'm seeing as if I'm seeing under 18. She still looks smart. This Court of Appeal, as the CJ says, as immediately we enter what he says, that if we can do this thing in the state level, no matter how small it is, I'm delighted as I'm seated here. Our Court of Appeal judges will be comfortable from their comfort zone and at least do the justice of what they were employed for.
My Lord, you have served meritoriously, and that meritorious service have been acknowledged in all the divisions you have gone through. It's like a festival-like valedictory session. At the body of benchers, when we got into the controversy of what is the proper dress code for a female student who insisted on a particular mode of dressing for call to the bar ceremony, I recollect that my Lord became the reference. And I'm very sure my Lord will recollect that encounter. Tension flared up. There were arguments for and against. And in the process of the argument for whether it should be allowed or not, a retired Supreme Court justice stood up and said, please, I'm quoting him because I was at that meeting, please look at the PCA. The way she wore her scarf was good enough as an example of how the head can be covered before the wig. And behold, that was the end of that controversy, and the body of benchers resolved to allow head cover of the type worn by my Lord, which again, my Lord is wearing with an office. My Lord, you will always be remembered positively in this regard.
But this came to a surprising climax when a Daba was organized for her in her home state, Gombe, something reserved only for the exceptional in the society. And then, the naming of the Gombe State Women and Children's Hospital after her.
The Court of Appeal is primarily an appellate court. It hears appeals from the Federal High Court, the High Court of the State, the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, the Sharia Court of Appeal of the state, including that of Abuja, the customary Court of Appeal for both Abuja and the states, the Code of Conduct Tribunals, election tribunals, and any other tribunals that might be by an act of the National Assembly. At its inception in 1976, the Court of Appeal had 3 judicial divisions, namely Lagos, Kaduna, and Enugu. In 1977, the number was increased to 5 with the establishment of Benin and Ibadan division. The court presently has 19 divisions, having just commissioned Asaba, Oka, and Kano divisions of the court some days ago. So Gombe is going to be the 20th, and by no means the last, maybe. Today we are here to commission the 20th division of the Court of Appeal in Gombe. This is also a homecoming for me, as Gombe is my state of birth. I pray that the Gombe division would only be the 20th in number, but in performance and justice delivery, it will rank amongst the best. In the judiciary, expansion through the establishment of new divisions of the court is an aspect of the judicial reform agenda, which is to enhance access to justice and speedy disposal of cases, as well as efficient administrative of justice. The above principle is so fundamental to the extent that in times of severe austerity, when governments and businesses are known to close down, some of its liaison offices are reduced its staff strength, the judiciary would still be seen to be expanded even at such times.
The new Gombe Division of the Court of Appeal will promote faster adjudication of judicial matters, increase access to justice for our people, and reduce the cost of seeking appellate justice that often comes with traveling over long distances. On its part, Gombe State offers the Court of Appeal a convenient location that is easily accessible to people from our neighboring states, especially Borno and Yobe. Located at the center of the northeast sub-region and sharing borders with all the other 5 states in the sub-region, Gombe State boasts of industrious and hardworking population, a bustling metropolis, and a substantially peaceful atmosphere. I am confident that the Court of Appeal will be glad with its decision to open a division in Gombe. On our part, the state government has lent its support to the court right from its inception. We provided the building for the smooth step-up of the court as a temporary site, and we committed to do even more. As a sister arm of government, the judiciary represents a second national institution that deserves our absolute respect and support. This is because an independent and impartial judiciary is crucial to nation building.
The attendance at the special valedictory court session for the retiring president of the Court of Appeal showed the effect of the service which Justice Zainab Bukachua has offered Nigeria in her 43 years in the judiciary. Going from the Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, and 2 retired Chief Justices of Nigeria, 8 governors, 3 former governors, Supreme Court and Court of Appeal justices, and tens of other personalities in the bar and bench. This therefore sets the stage for her to speak on the area most dear to her now as she goes into retirement.
Every girl child in Nigeria in deep world can also aspire for the great strides towards it and achieve it. More than academic success and career elevation, every girl has the potential to live in and make her world a beautiful one. There is so much left to spread to those whose language you speak and to those who don't really understand their language. The world needs people who can combine their educational background with religious teachings to give their environment lessons of endurance in times of hardship, dedication to duty, and deep love that calls across religion, tribe, and creed. As I go into retirement, lessons of my years past are well with me. I'll spend the next phase of my life giving more of myself to my society and to the world at large. I want to look back and smile at all that I've experienced, remembering today. I go away with good cheers, and I pray that the Almighty Allah answers our prayers and grant us the will to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign.
Other key speakers who represented the legal community appraised Justice Zainab Bukachua's tenure, saying it has been a blessing to Nigeria.
It is without doubt that from 17th April 2014 till date, the Court of Appeal, under her leadership, under her Lordship's watch and headship, has witnessed amazing evolutionary transformation and tranquility through her visionary, selfless service, hard work, foresight, forthrightness, integrity, and confidence-inspiring leadership style. As we gather today to celebrate the retirement of this seasoned jurist and erudite legal scholar, we must, of great importance, reflect on the enormous contributions made by her Lordship to the development of our judiciary. I therefore find it peculiarly fascinating to stress on some of the great achievements the Court of Appeal has recorded during the leadership era of her Lordship, Honorable Justice Zainab Bulkachua, and some, among many others, include the construction and commissioning of modern courtrooms in Ibadan, Lagos, and Jos divisions, while a Ilorin modern courtroom will soon be completed and commissioned, and the renovation, among others, of several quarters of the justices of the Court of Appeal, which were effectively carried out, and the introduction of enhanced welfare packages to the justices of the Court of Appeal and its numerous staff. In the light of foregoing, I wish to state that I am indeed glad and proud to celebrate my Lord, Honorable Justice Bulkachua, as she goes out of the bench today. Indeed, the entire Nigerians will miss you, your laudable expertise and judicial activism aimed at promoting the cause of justice to the Nigerian people, and your laudable contributions to the Nigerian legal profession.
We have all observed, and my colleagues will bear me witness, has shown that she can listen patiently, answer wisely, consider soberly, and decide impatiently. She's been able to demonstrate that she has integrity. She's a person of humility. She has demonstrated honesty. She is courageous, intelligent. In fact, my Lord is a living legend.
The justices of this court, especially those serving in some of the extremely busy divisions of the courts, have been greatly overworked, not just because of the litigious nature of Nigerians generally, but because of the paucity in the aggregate number of justices of the Court of Appeal. Ideally, some divisions like the Lagos division of these honorable courts, and I must also mention Abuja division of these courts, should have not less than 3 panels that sits regularly and consistently to reduce and spread the workload. And that means having more justices of the Court of Appeal that are posted to these divisions. Not to be forgotten is the fact that we have in the recent months been blessed with additional and newly created divisions of these courts, which by itself enhances access to justice, but also compounds and stretches beyond the limits, the work schedules of the limited justices of the Court of Appeal that we currently have. The NBA therefore calls for the immediate appointment of additional justices of the Court of Appeal, not just for the extremely busy divisions of these honorable courts, but for literally all the divisions, the need for which we would illustratively show presently. To pave way for these appointments, we call for a concomitant amendment of the provisions of the Court of Appeal Act to allow for the appointment of sufficient number of justices of the Court of Appeal that would ensure that no division of the courts would have less than 6 justices posted thereto, and the particularly overworked and overloaded divisions like Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt would have no less than 10 to 15 justices posted thereto. In the recent postings of the justices of the Court of Appeal that we have been privileged to see, a number of the divisions have only 3 justices posted thereto, which means, amongst others, that such divisions do not even have the quorum of 5 justices of the Court of Appeal for the constitution of a full court for the hearing of any matter that can only be heard by a full court in the terms of relevant constitutional provisions. And second, such divisions will not form the 3 justices quorum for the hearing of ordinary matters if 1 or 2 justices are indisposed or unavailable for whatever reason on any day for the court's sitting. And third, the justices of the Court of Appeal in those divisions would be overworked and prone to work stress and fatigue with the resultant health challenges. Very urgent attention therefore needs to be paid to this lacuna, for access to justice becomes meaningless and unattainable when and if the courts are incapable of sitting due to lack of quorum, and or when the hearing of appeals are delayed due to paucity in the number of justices of the Court of Appeal.
And so while we have used this program to look at the outgoing and incoming personalities at the nation's second highest court, it is to help us know how that court stabilizes eventually and continues its work of justice dispensation. It is a very important court for Nigeria. It is the intermediate court, and indeed a lot of cases come through that court which determine the polity, how the shape of the polity of Nigeria. So we shall be seeing you with more happenings in the justice sector, but I can tell you that you can watch this edition of the program on the contact that's appearing on your screen now, and indeed past editions too you can always get on this contact. We'll see you again.